Rulers change, but the rules of money never do.
Learn the rules, rule your wealth.
Finance king and queen, coin, conquer, empire. Welcome back to Finance King and Queen. Everyone on TikTok thinks they invented money maxing. Cutting subscriptions, stacking points, optimizing every dollar. Cute. The Romans were doing this exact thing 2,000 years ago, and they wrote it down.
And the guy who wrote it down became one of the richest men in Roman history. Let's prove it.
Quick definition so we're all on the same page. Money maxing is the internet's new label for an old three-part system. That reframe is genuinely new. The underlying behavior is not. It's blowing up right now because it reframes saving money as a game you're winning instead of a sacrifice you're making. That reframe is genuinely new. The underlying behavior is not.
Which is where I come in, because I can show you the exact same three-part system, practiced by name, by real historical figures, centuries before TikTok existed. Rome, 2nd century BC, Cato the Elder, Roman senator, farmer, notoriously tight with money.
Historians literally use the word frugal to describe him, because he became the template for the word.
He ran multiple income streams off one property, farming, vineyards, and lending money on the side. He diversified income before "diversify your income" was a LinkedIn post. He famously refused to buy anything he considered non-essential. He wore the same clothes as his workers
And ate the same food on purpose. So there was no lifestyle inflation to manage.
and he reinvested profits back into land and more income-producing assets instead of spending them.
The ancient version of putting your bonus into an index fund instead of a vacation. And here's the part that should actually annoy people doing this ironically on TikTok. Cato didn't do this because he was poor. He did it while being one of the wealthiest men in Rome. That's the whole point of money maxing today, too. It's not a poverty tactic. It's a wealth-building habit rich people keep even after they don't need to.
Jump forward almost 1,900 years. Benjamin Franklin publishes Poor Richard's Almanac, and it is, functionally, a money-maxing content calendar before content calendars existed.
Franklin wasn't just dropping quotes for fun. He was running an actual system. Track every expense in writing, daily.
Set a savings target before spending anything. Treat small recurring costs as the real threat to wealth, not big one-time purchases.
This is the exact same psychology as money-maxing influencers today canceling a $12 subscription instead of worrying about a $3,000 emergency. Franklin's whole philosophy was that death by 1,000 small leaks is more dangerous than any single big expense, because nobody notices it happening.
And people forget Franklin wasn't a monk about this. He became one of the wealthiest, most well-connected men in colonial America. Frugality wasn't his ceiling, it was his floor, the base layer that let him take bigger financial risks later because his baseline expenses were so tightly controlled.
Now here's the one nobody brings up, and it's the most relevant to right now. Depression-era households in the 1930s ran what home economists at the time literally called household efficiency systems. Envelope budgeting, dividing cash into labeled envelopes for rent, food, savings, comes directly from this era. That's not a TikTok hack. That's a 100-year-old system with a new coat of paint.
And the reason it matters for this video specifically, this system wasn't invented during comfortable times. It was invented under real economic pressure, the same way money maxing is exploding right now.
Which brings us to now. Right now, roughly 88 million American adults, about a third of the country, describe their financial situation as struggling or in crisis. That's up from about 1 in 5 just 5 years ago. Inflation's still elevated. Credit card debt just crossed $1.2 trillion nationally. That is the exact economic backdrop that produced envelope budgeting in the 1930s. It's the same backdrop producing money maxing now. Different name, same trigger.
Here's the honest historical caveat, because we're not just going to tell you everything's the same.
Cato, Franklin, and Depression-era households all had one thing those TikTok creators don't. Almost no distractions competing for the saved money.
No one-click checkout, no algorithm showing you something to buy every 8 seconds. The minimize expenses part of money maxing is fighting a much harder opponent today than it was 200 years ago.
which is actually the strongest argument for taking money maxing seriously instead of dismissing it as an internet trend. The behavior is ancient and proven. The environment trying to stop you from doing it is new and much more aggressive. That's not a reason to skip it. It's a reason you need a system more than any generation before you did.
So here's how to actually money max, using the historical version of each move.
The Cato move. Freeze your lifestyle at your current income permanently. Every raise or side income goes to savings or investing first, not spending. Cato never let his spending catch up to his wealth. Neither should you. The Franklin move. Track every dollar for 30 days, no exceptions. Not a budgeting app guess. Write it down or log it daily. Franklin's method worked because it forced awareness, not restriction. The Depression move. Give every dollar a named job before the month starts. Modern envelope budgeting, digital or physical. Rent envelope, savings envelope, fun envelope. If a dollar doesn't have a job, it gets spent on nothing you'll remember.
None of these are new. All three have already survived hundreds of years and multiple economic collapses. That's a better track record than any finance app on your phone.
Money maxing isn't a trend. It's a habit that's been quietly rebuilding fortunes since before the United States existed.
History already ran this experiment. It worked every time someone stuck with it.
Subscribe if you want the next one. We're breaking down the historical playbook behind our next topic.
See you in the next video.